Welcome in to another edition of The Legacy Right. We're back to your regular scheduled programming. We're going to try to get this right for once and bring you a little bit more instead of every couple of weeks to a month to whenever we damn well feel like it. But there's been a lot of shit that's been going on recently, especially within the last week, and especially within the last 3 weeks since we last dropped our latest episode with Joshua Inkle. So go check that out. Also, don't miss the one with Joe Dragon and Sal
Sal the
Diagoras
Aggro.
as well. So don't miss those last two episodes. Great times, great party, great conversations with all of them, great perspectives. So go ahead and hit that like button on both of those. And if you want to subscribe for more on YouTube, subscribe and ring the bell because you know YouTube's algorithm. So we got to beat the algorithm, or as Larry Sharp would like to say, Mr. Al Gore rhythm. So it's always funny when he says it.
Help me. He's
But
holding me against my will to do this podcast.
I'm not. If I was holding you against your will, um you would be in a gulag. So,
Oh,
but
oh,
with
okay.
that being the case, um if you notice a little different, I am standing up more straight up. I am finally professional now. I am not working off of a fucking a laptop or an iPad. So, and I actually have I can hear now. I can actually hear. So we're getting a little bit more professional. So, but with that, we are back once again. This is the legacy, right? I am the legacy of Jennifer and Kaiser. I am Zachary Kaiser. I am your captain, El Capitan. I am the Picard of this enterprise. This is my number one, William Riker.
Don't call me Charles Baudelaire.
Well, he missed the cue. He decided to speak Italian instead of just introduce himself as Andrew Joseph. But this is Andrew Joseph. He's my number two. All right, he ain't even my number one anymore. He's just I'd take a big old Duke in the toilet, and there's Andrew. So enough of the
Oh,
shit jokes, everybody. That was the only one. So,
so
but
far.
how yeah, so far we'll probably have some more shit jokes involved. So how are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing okay. Been a wild week. Last
It has
couple
been
of weeks, actually.
it has. What's been going on in your life that's made it wild?
Well, just been working, but I'm talking about in the broader scheme of things.
Well,
Assassinations, Trump
yeah.
people going to go and run wild and, you know, all kinds of chaos. Right up my alley.
Well, oh yeah. I mean, you've had what in the last 2 or 3 weeks, you've had two old men battle it out in the dumbass combat stage. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and one he just freeze out. I mean, he proves that he's probably gonna die soon. Sorry, but that's he's 82 years old, everybody, and he's obviously going through some Alzheimer's moments. He might be dead pretty soon. Uh,
I'm making a
speaking of that,
public bet right here. Bitcoin will outlast Joe Biden.
I mean, as long as Larry Fink, speaking of that, as long as Larry Fink is involved in Bitcoin, I don't think Bitcoin's gonna outlast anybody.
I'm talking about the rapper, 82
Oh, bit
years
well.
old.
Well, the rapper, yeah, the rapper's probably gonna he's probably gonna live to be what, about 150?
Yeah,
Oh, he hasn't released anything new, so I hope he's okay.
yeah. I'm sure he's fine.
So
He's just
I'm sure he's
relaxing.
fine. He's probably hanging out with Donald Trump.
He's smarter than Joe Biden, that's for sure. That's why he's got a song called Donald Trump Trump.
Well, he's trumping. He's trumping, unlike Joe Biden, who is sleeping. So, speaking of that, I mean, for all get all the current events out of the way. Um, what is your take on, because right now the narrative is Joe Biden is probably going to sit this one out. He's going to hand over his delegates next month at the DNC, uh, and he's probably going to sit this one out. So,
You,
what do
you,
you think about that?
you telling me he isn't back, Jack? He's not here to take kill times and take names?
It doesn't look like it. I think he's finally realizing. I mean, he did say that he will not exit this race unless there's a medical condition, and he just got COVID.
Yeah,
A man that's probably had every
I
one of
think
his
it's too
boosters.
obvious.
It's way too obvious. They can't even hide it anymore. So, if they were to go through with this and the delegates decide to choose somebody else at the Democratic National Convention next month in August, who are the main choices? Who do you think is going to be? Or do we see the rise of Kamala Harris? Has she sucked
Yeah,
her way up to the top?
she slept her way to the top, straight from Montel Williams forward. But
Oh
no,
God.
I mean that's really hard
Don't
for them
don't
to defend, but they'll go for it. I think.
Yeah. Don't take that as a slight, Montel. We think you're probably a good guy. But don't sue us like you did Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, well, we don't have any money. But no,
Yeah,
it's Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Michelle, Mike Obama. You know, there's quite a selection. It's going to be a Chicago style DNC, like back in the
oh yeah.
60s.
Yeah, back in the 60s when the Chicago mob ran Chicago and
Yeah,
came down to Hamilton, Ohio to settle and go down to Newport, Kentucky to run their rackets and skimming money for the casinos and the strip clubs. So, old Chicago mafia.
yeah. You got to go to the
So,
outside to make a little extra money, right?
hmm So,
Whereas
I mean,
competition's,
honestly, out of all of those choices, I honestly think Hillary Clinton's gonna make a comeback.
yeah,
I
I could see
really
that.
do. This is her chance. This really is her chance. Uh, I think she could probably do it too. In this day and age, I think you have enough people that are stupid enough to actually vote for Hillary Clinton and get her to the rise, the push that she truly needs. But as far as Michelle Obama, she's publicly stated she doesn't want to enter into the public field of politics. I honestly really do ugh, genuinely believe that. I
Yeah,
don't think that she wants to be president. I think she's done her thing as the first lady, and she is in other. And she and Old Barry have other projects that they're conducting. So I don't think that Michelle Obama, as much as it it gets everybody's panties up in a bunch, and a lot of Democrats are wetting themselves thinking that Big Mike is going to do it, and she probably would, or he, whatever you want to say,
well,
but
see,
she
that's a
probably
split
would.
personality.
Yeah,
He will
she
do it,
probably
she
would
won't.
be, but I think she would probably be the better candidate to go up against Donald Trump. I think she has a bigger forum, and I think her popularity is, because it is a popularity contest. I think her popularity would get it for her, and so she was probably the best to go up against Donald Trump, but I don't think she's going to do it, and I don't think
Mm,
she wants to do it. And I mean, honestly, I don't blame her. I wouldn't want
yeah,
to do it either. I mean, what's the point? Everybody else is calling for you to step up, but you don't want to get involved in that. Like, what? Who would want to put so much stress on you? And she has an appearance to uphold, right, in order to look like
yeah.
a woman. So, I mean, you don't want to have
That's kind
gray
of
hair
hard
by the
for
time.
her.
Especially the bulge in the dress. We saw it. We saw it, Mike. You have a bulge. Don't lie. Don't deny it. I'm still wondering whose kids those two girls are. Since Big Mike is obviously not a woman.
Yeah, still waiting for those wedding photos.
Yeah, still waiting for the wedding photos from 15 years ago. I don't even know how long they've been married. Who cares? Yeah. But yeah, another one that's been tossed in the hat is Gavin Newsom. I don't think that that's even strategically possible. I mean, I think he is the type that will be thrown into the race. His name will be attached in 2028, in my opinion. So that's a
Yeah.
future. I honestly could theoretically see maybe a Newsom Whitmer ticket in 2028. Wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Um, but honestly, another name that people don't really like to throw out there or haven't. Yeah, I don't know if they like to throw it, if they rather they like or not like to throw it out. But it's Jared Polis, fuck him. Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado.
I think he was talking about Jared from Subway.
I
No one,
mean,
no
Jared,
one likes to talk
he's.
about Jared from Subway anymore.
I mean, if you really think about Jared Polis and Jared from Subway, I mean, they're kind of similar, and
Just
they're
give it
probably
20
both kind of
years, and
puffs.
it's coming through.
Give it
They're just
20
working towards that push. Jared will
hmm
make his big return.
Oh yeah, he will. He will. Isn't he in prison right now?
I think so.
He'll get out. He'll run from prison and pardon himself, like Donald Trump wants to do.
I was
So,
into this field before it was cool.
yeah,
God,
Jared from Subway
yeah.
molesting kids before everybody thought it was awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, Jared Paulus would be probably one of the bigger, yet lesser known names for the DNC because of what he's done in Colorado. And the scary aspect though is think of Gavin Newsom and Kathy Hochul and what they've done in their respective states to literally destroy them in New York and California, but go 100 plus. Jared Polis makes progressivism uh dissipate. Like he is beyond progressivism. He is a true dystopian when you call a dystopian. I mean he is a he wants he wants to reign supreme and build up policies that gives his governorship more power, and thus he would probably be and Republicans would probably like this. He would be your next Abraham Lincoln. I mean,
I need a progressive, right? And that's the most progressive Republican you can get.
yeah, well, the most progressive Republican that you could probably get is Teddy Roosevelt, but that's a
Well,
different story.
he put him right on track to to get centralization of power right there.
Oh,
Without
of
Lincoln,
course.
there's no centralized
Yeah.
power
Yeah, but
so
you know
far.
what? If we went back in time, I honestly think Abraham Lincoln was just using what he could. Um, but if a bullet didn't get into the way, I think the Reconstruction period would have been a whole lot different because he didn't want to just punish the South. He wanted to revigorate the Union, reshape it, but bring the states back in as quickly as possible in order to fulfill the needs of a strong federal government. You can't do that when you have 11 states that are effectively territorial provinces under martial law, which is
Mhm.
what you got with the radicals. Basically, what I'm saying is Andrew Johnson did exactly what Abraham Lincoln wanted to do. Basically, forgive the South and let the South try to try to correspond this muddy works of what the radicals wanted to do. The radical Republicans are really like Congress. Lysander Spinner was very correct in his day and age. Like Congress were the real tyrants at the time. So, but because of Abraham Lincoln, you did get a strong federal office of president. So, for years and years later, especially when you get into the 1890s, um, with Benjamin Harrison, even Grover Cleveland, although Grover Cleveland, you could theoretically hear this, libertarians. Grover Cleveland, a Democrat, is probably your last libertarian president. Not even Calvin Coolidge could touch Grover Cleveland. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. And Calvin Coolidge was silent Cal. Like he said, fuck everything. He even said fuck the farmers who wanted subsidies, man. So yeah, I take that back, Calvin Coolidge, but Calvin Coolidge was pretty G. I mean, he literally called out like the farmers wanted in the 1920s, the farm lobby wanted to gain more subsidy, um, because they had all this excess that they were this is the reason for the Great Dust Bowl, by the way. They were growing so much in surplus and still growing in surplus after World War One in order to be able to sell more at a cheaper rate. They wanted to also, yeah, they were using that to get more subsidy by the government. And old Silent Cow basically stared them off in the face and said, uh,
Hell
stop
no.
defying markets. I mean, why should we give you subsidy? I mean, if you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. I
Mm.
mean, right now you're pretty much failing because you, most of you are growing too much of what we need, and eventually that's going to deplete everything. And oh, what I mean, naturally it did. Yeah, so the real Great Depression, everybody, was the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Everything else was at work. So, but Grover Cleveland did a lot as well. He was probably the only president. He was probably the last president that liked to use that veto. Let's just put it that way. He did like to use that veto. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, if it wasn't for Abraham Lincoln, you don't have the progressive movement elevate itself. And just so you know, the progressive movement, everybody, it's still, there is no end. We're still in the progressive movement, and it probably began anywhere between as early as like the 1830s. Now, yeah, so public school books. I mean, this is why the education system's garbage. I think they say that the progressive movement lasts anywhere from like 1880 or 1877 at post Reconstruction, the end of Reconstruction, to about 1930 when
Yeah.
1932 when FDR came in. But yeah, so then you have
Second wave.
Reconstruction. Yeah, then you have the second wave. Yeah, then and that goes with Reconstruction. I mean, Reconstruction effectively is just the Republican Party of old trying to reshape the Union and their image and reforging the United States into this progressive liberal empire. I mean, and to hold power. And we're pretty much still in Reconstruction. They give it a date. They say it 1877 in your history books, everybody. 1877 is the year, especially with the chaotic fraud-filled election of 1876 that put Rutherford Rutherford B. Hayes in office. He did not win the popular vote. Speaking of somebody who didn't win the popular vote and won the electoral college, let's talk about him. Orange man, Donald J. Trump.
Is he bad?
Is he bad?
I don't know. He just got
I,
shot. I thought he was a
he,
hero now. They put him over. He's the big cheese. The big orange cheese, that is. Oh boy.
Oh God, that was so I mean that image right there of Donald Trump with the Secret Service around him, letting him stand up with the fist in the air, blood streaming down his face. That's iconic, but that kind of, I don't know what does that make like for you? I mean, was this staged by the fucking Trump campaign to get
I
him like
mean,
cred?
I mean, it definitely did.
It
It's
did
very,
get
it's a very odd situation. It's kind of like JFK. We'll never really know, even though we know everything,
JFK actually said, blow my fucking head off.
right? back and to the right. He should have went back to the left, but he went back to the right. So there you go. That's what happens. He was trying to put himself
Exactly.
over the communists. I'm
He
cooler than
was.
communism, people.
Yeah, he was. And I mean, speaking of
Hey,
the JFK communist meme, is it that meme where the national what is it? The National Institute of Retarded People. This is JFK speaking to communists.
yeah, this is your
And
brain on
so,
communism.
I mean, that kind of explains MAGA. Uh,
Yeah,
they're communists. Um,
there goes our one
but
subscriber.
all of our communists are, all of our supporters are Make America Great Again cultists, and we love them. We love our one MAGA subscriber. They perceived that that we were a bunch of MAGA cultists, but we're telling you straight up here, one subscriber, you're not gonna like this episode. We're gonna
Trust me,
shit
you
talk a
should
lot.
donate to us, and we'll possibly donate a portion of what you donate to us to the Trump campaign, maybe 20 years from
Yeah,
now.
in 20 years
I've got
when
inside
it's
connections.
he does. Andrew is actually
Oh, wait, don't
he's
tell them.
rub uh, oh, I'm gonna tell him. He's actually rubbing Barron Trump's head right now. Barron Trump is his cat. Andrew is Barron Trump.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
yeah, it's all a psyop. The kid that you see, the 18-year-old kid that you see by his mama and daddy, that's not
In
Barron Trump.
Japan currently,
Yeah.
he's it. It's a protection thing. Secret Service sent him to Japan. Son of a bitch. Pretty lucky.
Did he?
I
Did
go
he
to
really?
Japan. Yeah, right after the assassination attempt.
He went to they sent him to Japan?
They sent him to Japan.
Why Japan?
Well,
Don't they know
obviously
that
China's full.
don't they know that there's just as many assassins taking out leaders and their families in Japan?
Yeah, but I mean, nobody ever did it to them personally, unlike
Uh-uh.
Abe.
Abe. Shinzo Abe was assassinated going against the world order. He wanted to bring
They
nationalism to Japan.
they touched his heart with a shotgun, homemade.
Was it homemade?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
How they made a homemade shotgun in Japan? I can understand how that's kind of a a stretch, but where did he get the shells from? That's what I want to know. Because you can't just make shells.
They imported it from China.
No, okay, makes sense. Suppose it's better than
Yeah,
those
with
3D printed guns.
yeah, but those 3D printed guns though. I mean, they still have a purpose.
Yeah,
You print them, and then you put them together. You print, well, actually, it puts it, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You put in the schematic, it prints the gun. They don't work because they're garbage. Half of them don't work. And then you go to a buyback that the government holds. You sell them shitty printed guns, you get your taxes money. You get your tax money back. Although the government, be careful, be wary on this because the federal government, when they kind of they understand this strategy, so they're it's kind of it's not illegal, but they're not taking 3D guns that much anymore.
yeah.
You could donate them, but they might not give you money.
Well, I tell you, 3D printed guns have come a long way. They're not like those little rectangle space bullshit that when they first started out as. They look like real damn guns.
Anymore, actually. I mean, anymore. See, that's where we live in a nice time. I mean, the innovation is like going so fast track that like 10 years ago, you're exactly right. It was like a little rectangle, little toy that looks like shit. And
Yeah,
now here we are in 2024, you print something and it's a gun. Like and it works. They actually work. 10 years ago, the joke would be you print it and go to a buyback. Even
Yeah.
5 years ago, or even 2 years ago, print the shitty things, go to a buyback, and adversely possess your taxes again. Now,
3D printer go
get the
burr.
yeah. Now make that 3D printer go burr and print yourself some guns, and you can protect you and your fucking family for when the fucking cops show up.
Yeah.
And yes, it'll be the cops, everybody. It's not going to be the ATF or the FBI. They'll send your local police at your door to kick it in, rape your wife, probably beat your wife, actually. Beat your wife, rape your son, murder your daughter, and then force you to pay money and take your guns and then arrest you.
And you get to send the local police department on a nice vacation. Pay for it.
Civil asset forfeiture. Yeah, what a wonderful thing. So, but yeah, getting off that tangent though, back to the assassination, Tim. Um, it doesn't make any sense on how the pure incompetence that the Secret Service seems to equate it to in the last few years. I mean, whether it's hookers and blow in Colombia, um, during the Trump years. How ironic. It always surrounds Trump, the incompetence. I don't know if it's planned, if they want to be incompetent because they want to get at Donald, or if Donald Trump is just that fucking incompetent that it just surrounds the aura of incompetence. Not to say that Joe Biden's any smarter. Joe Biden's an idiot, always has been, but Donald Trump is pretty incompetent. Um, but one lone gunman, huh? We're back to that narrative, huh? The lone gunman.
Last I've heard that, but then I also heard there was somebody up on the water tower even further away with an actual rifle.
Yeah, but if you've seen the videos of that, it literally looks like a shadow, and
Yeah.
that is one of the most that you couldn't do it. Like I don't know how you would set up there. It's not it. Talk about slope roofs, everybody. Anyone? Anyone, Andrew? Anything? Slope roofs? Yeah. They ain't yeah. If the Secret Service ain't getting on a slope roof, I don't think I don't think anybody's getting on a water tower that is instability. Yeah, I mean the
Oh my
stability of
God,
that
he's got a
thing. I
gun.
mean,
He's got a gun.
and there's nowhere really to hide. I mean, I know there really isn't. So I don't know. I've seen footage where it looks like there's a shadow like behind the little point at the very top, but then I've also seen footage where they're trying to say that the logo in the middle is the person is like they're in the wall of they're in the front wall of the water tower.
Yeah.
That's you're blurring out the logo there, buddy. I mean, um, part of the thing is with the water tower, and I'm not trying to say let's disprove it, but the discoloration of the footage is it's very groggy and distorted from too much zoom.
Yeah.
So it's not the best evidence that you can equate for. The only way you're going to actually find out if there was somebody up at on the water tower is if you do a thorough investigation and find evidence that somebody was there, like gun residue, like gunpowder residue, or
Our missing postman who had missed his shift.
yeah, or missing, yeah, exactly, or semen from them jerking off up there because they're bored.
That too. He had
So
to go there, ladies
it
and gentlemen.
This is the United States Secret Service we're talking about. I mean, hookers and blow in Colombia, everybody.
Yeah. Well, no, you was talking about Trump earlier. I think it's a function of his personality. He likes to illustrate the flaws and things to say, look at all the money you're spending on all this crap.
So you're saying that he may have staged this himself just to basically show everybody that just how shitty our government and its services are.
Well, I mean, shock and awe theory, right? Well,
I mean, to be,
once the grenade explodes, it's just like him in the first 4 years of presidency.
yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at all the stuff after the grenade explodes." He's walked away,
Hmm.
and the media's sitting there
Don't,
following him as he's throwing grenades. So I mean, I don't know.
don't,
Yeah,
yeah, don't say grenade, man. Someone actually launched a grenade at George W. Bush, and it didn't explode.
I thought it was a shoe.
That
Wait,
was another there was another incident too. There was a grenade thrown at one incident. Yes, the shoe is more memorable because that's just all over the internet now. And he ducked. That was honestly, that was friggin'. I mean, the way he knew it was coming too. He did. And he had and the sick sadistic smirk on his face, like I knew that was coming.
right?
I deserved that. I deserved
Yeah.
it. So so I mean, yeah. So but I mean, it is shocking, huh? And the way that the I mean, I don't know if it was shitty aim, a shitty shot, or if it was an
A
extremely
cheerleader?
good shot. And yeah, it was a shit. He is a shitty leader, but they're all shitty leaders. But the shot itself, I mean, if Trump doesn't turn his head, it's almost like it was clockwork. If he doesn't turn his head in the exact moment that that bullet's coming through, that is going through his fucking cheek. It
That
really is. It's going. He's
is
dead.
one magic loogie.
Talking about a magic bullet theory. So, and I mean, so I am trying to wrap my head around. I mean, I know that the
At
MAGA
least you
people are
have one
saying this
left.
is, yeah, yeah, zingers, man. You got some zingers today. But I am trying to wrap my head on whether or not this is a CIA op to try to take out Donald Trump, or if this is a CIA op to elevate Donald Trump because they want to get rid of Joe Biden because Trump is more competent than Joe Biden,
Well,
easier to deal with.
you can't have it both ways. They can't be totally competent but then totally incompetent at the same time. You
Exactly.
know, smart
Or
bombs, they can do smart bombs in somebody's chimney, but they can't, they can't pull off a successful assassination. Which one is it?
I mean they have actually they have pulled off a successful assassination once. It was in
Well,
Chile.
oh, is
Yeah,
it
and
dropping
they
them
weren't the one.
like the comms?
Yeah, but they weren't the one. They were just funding it, so it was really Pinochet.
Oh,
So
so see
yeah,
that goes back to the same principle. They're really good at spending your money, just not on things that they want.
yeah, yeah. They'll use your money to hand off to Pinochet's military to buy and manufacture attack helicopters to gun down the president, the elected president. I know he was a socialist, everybody, but whatever, he was elected in the presidential mansion in Chile, but they don't have your interests at heart. They love your money. The CIA thanks you for your money.
Listen, we've all seen Count Dankula's video about CIA's failed attempts to like assassinate Cuban leaders.
See, that's why I know that this wasn't a CIA op. The only real success that they ever had was JFK, and I don't even think that was the CIA. I think that was
That
the
was the
mob.
mob.
That was the mob. In fact, if the CIA was involved, they used the mafia.
Mm.
Do we send Leroy out to fail the shot? That's what it was. The CIA mole was Lee Harvey Oswald. He was the patsy, but it was a mobster that took the hit because if you want to get things done, you hire a mob hitman because they know how to shoot
When in
and they
Rome,
know
do
how
as
to
the
be the
Romans.
driver. Hmm. Not only that, but they also say like, and if you actually go back to the footage of JFK's assassination, uh, if you look really, really close, you got to really zoom in and like pay attention. It looks like the bullet, yeah, like that, but it does look like something was fired from the car, from inside the car, the driver's seat to the back. I don't think there was a grassy knoll. I don't think it was definitely not Lee Harvey Oswald at the at the top of the Texas books depository. I think it was the driver, which leads to me adamantly saying this was a mob hit from old Dirty Joe's contacts that he used in Chicago to get his son Jack the presidency. And then Bobby deciding to go against the mob as the attorney general. And you don't double cross the mafia. You don't. That's a double standard. You don't take their help and then turn around and double cross them to take them out.
And
Because
thus
of Bobby Kennedy, Jack got murdered.
the Bush dynasty was born.
Well, yeah, then you got H.W. Bush, but even he was incompetent, dude. As the CIA director,
He just doesn't recall
don't
where he was that day.
he doesn't. He doesn't. He was probably he was probably banging Barbara in Dallas. Just so happened that they were both in Dallas.
Convenient,
They did move to Texas. They were in Texas by that point, weren't they?
I
I mean,
believe so.
old W was old W was born in Texas. Although he does sound a little bit like a country accent in Northeasterner.
Yeah,
Trying to sound like he's a good old boy, Southern good boy, but he's really a Massachusetts man. Let's go to Harvard, everybody. Let's go get our law degree from Harvard after we went to old Skull and Bones in Yale off of daddy's money.
go, go, go.
hmm
Got a drink, right?
Gotta drink. Yeah, George W. Bush did a lot of drinking. Did a lot of hard partying when he was at Yale. I think that honestly, I don't think there's anything nefarious about Skull and Bones, dude. I think all they do is they gather around the bones of Geronimo and they just drink beer, smoke weed, and sniff coke.
Probably.
And then yeah, these are your fucking leaders, everybody. They're
Mm,
at Yale, gathered around bones, drinking, smoking, and sniffing coke.
they're
Oh,
preparing for the future.
and the future is Joe Biden talking
Pooping his
about and
pants.
mumbling. Well, that too. Yeah. I was gonna say mumbling and going off a tangent about something about what was I saying again?
Uh,
Something
talking about hell if I know. I just work here.
Joe Biden, everybody. Joe Robinette Biden Jr.
You do a
Our
very good impersonation.
yeah, our 46th president of the United States of America. So, yeah. Speaking of 46, going on to 47 because he will be the 47th as well as the 45th if elected.
If he makes it.
Agenda 47. I haven't really looked that much into it, but what do you think of what's your take on Donald Trump's agenda coming in as president?
Anything that helps me save money to move out of this country is good by me.
Yeah. Speaking of saving money and getting the hell out of this shithole of a country, this banana republic we've been for the last 100 years, um, there is a there is a great special program in St. Kitts and Nevis or Nevis, however you want to call it, where it's a dual passport system where you can go apply for citizenship. Still here in the States, actually. You don't even have to go to St. Kitts. You can apply for citizenship, a special type of citizenship, where you can move assets as much as high as up to $100,000, whether you have that or not. I don't think you necessarily have to have $100,000. You can move assets into St. Kitts. You can set up citizenship in St. Kitts. You can apply for a passport system for which you can get a visa-free uh you can get visa-free travel. That means basically the freedom of movement for up to 150 plus countries around the world. I would suggest getting all your assets together and taking that program to heart, because this country and the rest of the West is fallen. Have you not heard the stories of France right now? The far left has completely won out. France is no more. At this rate, they're either going to be a Stalinist utopia, or it's going to be an Islamo-fascist empire. I don't know. Whatever comes first, right? It's either the caliphate's going to eventually take over, or or I forget. I don't what is the leader's name? Whatever. Who cares? He's trying to become Stalin.
The Antichrist, like they put in that like they put in that one guy's book. The guy used to be a doctor.
Honestly, Macron. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, Macron. Yeah, Macron does actually have that Antichrist vibe. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the Antichrist. They're giving him a
Uh,
push,
yeah.
and by everybody, by those that I'm saying that are giving him the push that he needs, we're talking the United Nations, we're talking NATO, we're talking the EU, especially, we're talking the Vatican, Pope Francis, that satanic Argentine communist fuck. I mean, really, all you Catholics out there, denounce the Catholic Church right now, because Pope Francis is a fucking Satan worshiper.
Mhm.
Really, like that that motherfucker needs to get shot. Now, speaking of people that need to get assassinated, you want to get rid of Satanism altogether and fight it. This is a spiritual battle. And yeah, I'm a Catholic, but I look at Pope Francis. He's not good. Like, there's a reason why they put him in power. The Vatican is trying to consolidate and work their old tricks in the book, because they have lost a lot of their influence because of the Enlightenment era and the secularism that has gravitated, and which to a certain extent is a good thing, but to another extent it also is what led to Marxist thought and progressivism and the expanded total war of the state. And so, I mean, spirituality, regardless of what you can be a Buddhist, you can be a Catholic, you can be a Lutheran, you can be a Celtic, pagan, whatever. I mean, spirituality is what makes humanity. So it keeps us whole, and it builds community as well. But Pope Francis is just uh, he's evil. What he's done since he's become Pope, I mean, what he advocates for, I mean, it's pure evil.
Was it foretold in the quatrains?
Actually, I think it has. I think Nostradamus. Nostradamus, as
He
much as I
finally
am
gets
a
who I was
skeptic,
talking about.
yeah, as much as I'm a skeptic about a lot of it, uh, a lot of his quatrains did come true. He did predict Hitler. He did.
Hister.
History. He predicted Stalin as well.
And I believe he predicted Napoleon Bonaparte too.
He did. He predicted
Maybe he
Bonaparte.
wasn't even talking about Napoleon. Maybe he's talking about the future leader that we're talking about right now.
No, Macron. Probably. Actually, he may have. Honestly, who knows? Who knows? So, or he could have been actually talking about not Napoleon or Macron. He could have been talking about Nathan Rothschild and his shenanigans. Yeah.
You want to cut a promo on Rothschild? I know, hey, how much you're a big fan of his.
I love those fellow Jews, and as a Jew myself, I think they're doing a wonderful job. I don't want, please don't suicide me. Don't suicide me. I know you like to use the Clinton. Oh shit, Hillary Clinton is a wonderful wonderful lady too, but so are the Rothschilds. They're wonderful people. So are the Freemasons. So is the Illuminati. There is no Illuminati, everybody. The Illuminati is a myth. There was a certain Bavarian sect that just met to kind of as a social club to kind of talk the politics and the economics and the religion of the day and shit on religion back from 1776 for about 13 years. They fell apart. I mean, because it was illegal in Germany, so they were raided. The Illuminati did not infiltrate the Masons. No, the Masons are at the 33rd degree, at the highest degree of the Freemasons. They are good people. They do a lot of good charitable work. They do a lot of public service. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a great man. He was a great man, the best man that you could ever be. And he helped this nation heal in a time of a Great Depression. And his New Deal was fantastic. It put people to work. And you know how it is. That I mean, work is the American way. Oh, it is the American way. We need workers. We need jobs. I mean, so yeah, and that's where I'm gonna have. I mean, that's where I'm gonna leave it off. So vote Donald Trump, Trump 2024, for yeah, Trump JD Vance 2024.
Now, believe me when I tell you this, this is all on purpose. We're all converging to one singularity. Alexander Soros just got elected to got married to a very powerful woman. Don't worry
Mm.
about it.
And it was a marriage of convenience, wasn't it? Isn't he actually a homosexual? That's what I've heard. Who knows? If he is, good on him, man. If he really is gay and it's a marriage of convenience, whatever. I mean, isn't it always a marriage of convenience?
All history leads to this one point.
Alec,
His
yeah,
dad
the sword.
retired.
About fucking
And he,
time.
yeah,
He's 95 years old, isn't he?
God himself has laid down his chisel and given over the work to the son.
And see, that's where it is. That's where I tell you, like, this is a spiritual battle. Because I mean, I'm probably gonna get suicided on this one, but George
Very
Soros
nice.
is yeah, George Soros is a evil man. I mean, have you not known the history? He's a Hungarian Jew. Yes, he's a Jew, everybody. Cool. Great. He's a Hungarian Jew that escaped the wrath of the Nazis by working for the Nazis, hiding, concealing his identity as a Jew as a teenager in the 40s, and helping to oust, yes, snitch on his fellow Jew when the Nazis came and occupied Hungary. I believe during Operation Barbarossa, when they pulled into Hungary and yeah, and the puppet government that they put in place and the occupation that was in play, he literally helped snitch people out that were Jews to have them arrested and put in the what the Soviets would call gulags, what we call the concentration camps and the death camps in Poland. In fact, the death camps didn't exist until Poland was occupied. There's a reason for that. It's all by design. It really is. It's because Poland was not seen as a sovereign nation, even though it has a significant history of independence and a kingdom. I mean, if it's one thing, and this is where it comes by design too with the Ukrainian issue, Ukraine was never a sovereign nation. It was always part of, it's tied into both Poland and Russia. But you don't have a Russia without Kiev Rus, so technically maybe Ukraine is actually Russia, but at the same time, Poland is Ukraine.
Are
Just
you
think about
implying
that
that
for a
Poland
second.
is an anarchist society?
I am implying that Poland is an anarchist society. Mm. I am
Mm.
also implying that that is where Ludwig von Mises comes from, is the Polish portion of Ukraine in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Because at that time, when he was born, it was the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But he was theoretically born in Poland. But now it's part of Ukraine.
Who is Ludwig von Mises?
I don't know,
More
some
important than
some
John
guy.
Galt.
Yeah, some dude. Speaking of
I
John
know.
Galt, wasn't John Galt Ludwig von Mises in that book?
No, I think he was Lysander Spooner, the dude behind Zach there. But I do know one thing: John Galt wasn't in a Batman comic.
Wait, John Galt wasn't or was in the back?
Was not in a Batman comic.
What do you think that is?
Well, I know Ludwig von Mises was.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Ain't that awesome to find your heroes in Batman comics? Once they made it into Batman, you realize Batman is probably the most libertarian comic out there.
Mm. He
Or
wants to do it right, just like Mises.
hmm yeah.
That's why he's such an
So
asshole. He's very
Mises,
angry.
yeah, Mises was an asshole. I mean, you don't you don't stand up in front of a bunch of libertarian thinking economists and call them a bunch of socialists because they don't articulate your free market principles because they're all a bunch of great compromisers and
Mhm.
walk out the room without being an asshole. And you know what? I agree. I would be an asshole too.
If anybody's interested in the enneagram, he was a one. Fear of corruption.
Yeah. Speaking of the
The rigid
Enneagram,
perfectionist.
we're speaking of the Enneagram and the psychological and personality makeup of individuals and how what makes them tick. And we are going to probably do a series on this in more ways than other. Get away from the politics drift, but politics, the sphere of politics and certain people with their Enneagram. I'm a skeptic, um, but I'm also a Christian. Um, so, but I'm skeptical. Andrew is more enthralled in these mysteries of the Enneagram as me, but it kind of some of it can possibly explain why our political leaders are the way they are. And to go deep into the Enneagram, um, no, well, not quite deep, just to touch base on the Enneagram. I'm going to give the floor to Andrew, let him talk about it, and then maybe we can see what Donald Trump and Joe Biden are.
Donald
And
Trump's
what
tri-type is 7, the enthusiast, 8, the challenger, and 3, the achiever. That's his. It's like blending coffee. I don't know about Joe Biden. I just know he shits his pants in front of the Pope.
that's just Joe Biden's just a pants shitter. So is Donald Trump. I mean, they both have actually gotten caught shitting their pants. There is a picture, unless it was
Well,
Photoshop, but I honestly I don't think it was. I think Donald
I,
Trump
I,
actually shit
I
his
think
pants on the
you
golf
get
course.
your ears shot off, you're probably gonna shit your pants.
Well, no, isn't there didn't he shit his pants on the golf course with and playing golf with a bunch of political leaders?
Well, I did go golfing the next day, so what do you expect?
Donald Trump likes to golf. Speaking of that though, enthusiasm, a overachiever or achiever, and a challenger. I mean, fair enough. I'll give Donald Trump that. I mean,
Yeah.
let's go in depth on that. Um, why do we why how can we say Donald Trump is the enthusiast?
Enthusiasts like to be liked. It feels like that's what motivates them is the people to appreciate them and like them. Challengers like to be hated.
So what you're
They
saying
like to
is,
push people, hold them
and
accountable.
and this goes back to why he got into reality TV. and why he's been so successful with The Apprentice, why he shows up on public programming such as WWE as a heel. He wanted to be the heel when he came on the WWE and did the hair versus hair gimmick match with between Lashley and Umaga, in which Spencer McMahon was defeated. Surprisingly enough, uh, actually Vince McMahon was actually the heel, I believe, in that storyline. But Donald Trump was supposed he came on from what I swear I've read this like in articles like he came on because he told Vince they're best buddies in real life, by the way. They are close friends. He wanted to come on as a heel, but he got so much of a pop that he ended up being the face. And Vince McMahon was actually supposed to be the face because it was supposed to be this is Vince's turf. You don't come on Vince's turf. You're the
Put
bad
yourself
guy.
over.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. But he was getting so over, they actually had to switch and make Vince the typical prototype heel that he always is, as the corporate man that hates everybody. And it's self-centered and it's my show or the highway. So, but realistically, it was really just two neutrals going up against each other.
Mm.
And Trump was
And
supposed to
a
be the
fixed
heel.
fight.
Yeah, in a fixed fight between a big, large black man and a psychotic Samoan
Who's overweight?
who's very overweight. Rest in peace, Umaga. Though Jamal was great, and it's great to see that his nephews are
3 minutes.
yeah. So it does it's great to see that his nephews are keeping the legacy of that whole family alive.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I like the Usos, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I like the twist that they've done. Like I haven't watched since WrestleMania. I only watch WrestleMania anymore because it's WrestleMania, hey. But I like the general concept that they decided to like split the brothers up. Yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's great because sometimes you do have to break up tag teams for a minute. I think they're better as a cohesive unit. I think they will probably hopefully they actually bring them back, but because that would be a great story. Uh Now that Vince is out of the picture and it's Triple H, I think it could work. Obviously, with Vince in the picture, it doesn't work, and usually it never happens anyways. But you got to break them up and let them go on their own
Yeah.
for singles
You,
competition.
you can't overplay the card too long. And that's
Hmm.
what Vince McMahon's flaw was. He kept overplaying the card over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, and but yeah. Speaking of like the idea around Trump, he is an enthusiast in the manner that he likes to be popular. He likes to be yeah, he's in the entertainment industry. Um, he wants to get over with everybody. He went into a public feud with Rosie O'Donnell for 10 years because what?
Just for
Who cares
entertainment
about
purpose. Yeah.
literally? I mean, there's no fallacy that they probably get along with each other behind closed doors. I mean, there's no doubt. It was a public feud for entertainment because Rosie O'Donnell, well, she never
Wants to
really
make
came.
money.
She wants to make money. She wants to stay relevant, make money, and Donald Trump needs the attention and the money as well, since he likes to go bankrupt a lot.
Hmm.
But but yeah, and yeah, I mean, and then what else? He started the fucking birther movement. He decided to get involved in the Obama birther movement. I mean,
Yeah.
in the early 2010s, like this is all entertainment. Like
Well,
there's
he
no
didn't start it. He picked it up and continued it.
he picked well, yeah, he picked
And
it up. I mean, he made it relevant. Let's just put it that way. It really wasn't
yeah.
as relevant until Donald Trump picked it up and went full steam ahead. I mean, and in reality, I mean, Donald Trump's a Russian asset, right?
Yeah.
Right, Democrats?
Hmm. New York Democrat from the 80s.
No, he's definitely a New York Democrat from the 80s and the 90s. So he's actually he never left. He never really left the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left him, as
Hmm.
his words. So it would make sense why he would jump into he. I mean, 2016 wasn't the first time that he kind of jumped into he started juggling with the idea of running for president. It's just entertainment. It just so hey, it was a joke actually. In 2015, it really was a joke. Like he was not trying to win. And then but then he saw that he was popular. So he rolled with it. He rolled with the punches and just took it by storm. And he ended up becoming the Republican nominee and went head to head with Hillary Clinton and fucking won.
That's right.
I mean,
And then
really,
they met a
he
tea time.
juggled. Hmm. So, and he juggled with it as a joke in like, I think in both 2008 and 2012. I know definitely 2012, but he never really committed. Um, so it's that entertainment factor and that popularity contest that he likes, and he saw that how popular he was. He took it and he won it, and so now he is in the political sphere. And with that victory in 2016, the Trump campaign of 2015-16 and his presidency afterwards for the last 4 years has reshaped politics in the United States forever. Like you can't be a Republican without a Trump endorsement. Otherwise, you're known as a rhino, which is very funny because they're all the same, anyways.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what
So,
breed of Republican, they're still Republican.
exactly. So, and then the challenger. I mean, what he likes to push buttons, right? I mean, look at his 4 years as the president. Obviously,
Yeah.
behind the scenes, he was not pushing buttons. He was rolling with it. He was submitting and he was doing what every good little boy does as the president. He was a nice little puppet, just like Joe Biden is, just like Obama was, Bush. We all know Bush wasn't running anything, just like Biden isn't. I mean, Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld was running Bush's presidency. Bush was a retard, like literally, not figuratively. He was a retard. Um, the fact that George W. Bush won, he really didn't win in 2000. The Supreme Court, yeah, all the courts just ruled that everything's fine. Everything's fine. There was no shenanigans in Florida. Of course there wasn't. Yeah, I mean, ignore the fact that George W. Bush's brother was the governor. There wasn't any shenanigans in Florida. The recount there was no reason for a recount. George Bush
Oh
won.
my God, there's a 9/11 attack.
Hell, a 9/11 attack. Holy shit.
Bad
Little did they
elections, that's
know.
old news.
That is old news. That old news. Old news. 9/11. Old news. Fake news. Ignore the document that came out 2 years prior called and I suggest people reading it the called the New American Century. Ignore that. I mean, no. We were attacked by 19 hijackers that wanted to get back at America because they hated us for our freedoms.
Project for a New American Century.
Thank you. Good
Cool.
document, by the way. It's very insightful. If you can find it online, if they haven't blocked it,
Yes,
but they should know. You
they're
should be
they're
able to find
filtering
it.
out the internet every day. I'm surprised you even found our podcast.
Yeah, we're marked by Saudi agents, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're
we're actually posting this on Chinese Telegram. That's the only place we can
it's
get any traction.
yeah, it's amazing that it's Chinese Telegram, considering the Chinese are communists and control every waking movement, thought, and way of life that people do because they're communists.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are broadcasting this live from Chinese Telegram. There's a lot of libertarians in China,
Yes. They like to
and
beat
for
the
a good
shit out of each
reason.
other.
Just like libertarians, man. I mean, libertarians like to fight amongst each other as well. They're fighting over trans shit right now. Tomorrow they'll be fighting over whether or not they should vote for Donald Trump. That never changed.
Yeah.
They're still
The more
they're
things
fighting over
change,
what.
the more it's changed the same.
So, um, but yeah, and then what was the other thing? Challenger, enthusiast, and achiever.
Achiever, yeah. Driven by a lot, and I mean a lot of anxiety to overcome their shame.
Well, I mean, Donald Trump has a lot of shame, especially what he did to Scotland
Oh,
15 years ago now. You do realize that that when the government gave him the contracts to steal those people's land, they his golf course the resort that was to be built there, it never fruition because he went bankrupt. His that investment opportunity went bankrupt. As always with Donald Trump's projects, they always go bankrupt because he's an idiot.
it's kind of like
He's a
Alex
grifter.
Jones. It's like 50% there, 50% not.
Yeah, I mean he's a grifter. He is a big time grifter. But to this day, those people they lost their homes. Like, and it just looks like if you go to that area in Scotland, like it is and I mean and we should bring on Stephen and discuss this. But I think to this day, it is empty in a shell of itself, and it's basically an unfinished golf course with nothing else on it.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's sad. But the way that I look at it with how he achieves is there's one thing that Donald Trump, and this is well documented. You can find the interview on YouTube when he was 33 years old, and I believe what 1980 he did a interview with was it NBC News or CBS News?
I
It
think
was
it was
some
NBC.
Yeah, one of the corporate fucking Operation Mockingbird corporate press news reporters, where he was asked what his main what his life goal was to be in life, and he actually admitted that he would like to be president of the United States. I mean, he achieved it. He worked
Yeah.
to that goal. I mean, he used it as a work for a while, and then realized, hey, they actually love me. They want me. I can grift these people to give them it so much. I mean, I can get convicted of 40 counts of a felony and get $40 million donated to me in one night. I mean, I can take a graze of a shot from a lone large forehead retard firing off an AR-15 round, survive and get another 30 million donated to me.
He had no physical digital footprint,
So,
no fingerprints.
but no fingerprints. Yeah, that is weird. That dude had nothing.
He was like 20 years old and he never used a computer
Mhm.
in his entire life. He had to use a computer to complete college or high school, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Never used it. That didn't have social media. I find that. I mean,
But somehow he was
well,
able to
there's
have overseas network connections. Yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah, okay. So I think the mafia is back, man. Uh, the boys are back in town.
Copyright strike YouTube.
Probably. The boys are back in the casa.
Okay. Mi casa, su
Yes.
casa.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, so it was obvious. So it was staged.
I
This
mean,
was an assess.
we'll never really know.
We will. Well, I mean, as much as people are crying for what to know, you will never know. This is being buried. Like the investigations that are going on right now is to conceal what happened because your government does not want to be transparent with you. Because Joe Biden doesn't want you to know that he's trying to kill off his political opponents by not giving them the correct amount of Secret Service detail they need.
Yep.
or using DEI to hire in these literal retards that should not be in the Secret Service. But I can't get behind that because the Secret Service was at the height and the peak of where they once were post Lincoln. Around Ulysses S. Grant was when the first Secret Service presidential detail was put in place because of Lincoln. Like I believe the Secret Service Act was signed into law uh like 2 years into Andrew Johnson's term,
Mm.
technically Lincoln's term, but because Andrew Johnson was never elected, he was not popular. He got impeached, everybody. He got impeached for going against the radical Republicans as a anti-secessionist Northern Democrat out of Tennessee, and following what Lincoln had proposed for his progressivist forgive the South, bring them back in the Union montage. He was
Yeah.
doing what Lincoln asked. Uh, but yeah, the Secret Service was at the height and the peak of its power in being an enormous expanse of protection for the president. And look at what that was, either a inside job or the Secret Service was incompetent. If you really want to go back to the JFK assassination and say that it was a lone gunman, magic bullet theory, Lee Harvey Oswald, then you got to look. The Secret Service is incompetent. Then there should be the president of the United States, if there's going to be a protection detail, is more better off having his own private detail than to have the Secret Service. Then, if that's going to be the case, so this
3 points,
Thomas,
mark and
uh,
trend.
yeah. So if this Thomas, what's his name? I love how they use the full name of these lone gunman assassins. What is it? Thomas Matthew Crooks,
Yeah.
Lee
What a
Harvey
crook.
Oswald, John Wilkes Booth. It's
Yeah,
all
when
by design.
they go all the detail, that means it's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, John Wilkes Booth wasn't a lie. He was the one that shot Lincoln, but there was a larger conspiracy.
Yeah.
There, so and one that might potentially involve Andrew Johnson, possibly only because he was the only one. He was supposed to be assassinated, but his assassin supposedly got drunk and forgot. Literally, he got drunk in a pub and forgot that he was supposed to be going over to Andrew Johnson's house to murder him.
Yep.
Seward, his assassin, was so stupid that he climbed through a window, uh, and basically woke him up. He made so much noise it woke up Seward. They got into a struggle with the knife. He stabbed Seward a few times. Seward survived, but I forget his name, but the assassin that crawled into Seward's window, he had to leave in a hurry, and Seward was able to survive, the Secretary of State. And then Lincoln was actually shot. But there's also another conspiracy. Lincoln's detail, his federal army detail. I mean, at that time there was no Secret Service. His detail were military, was Union Army, was a Union Army detail. There's the conspiracy to that the his main guard, I forget his name. I don't think he was a rank. I could be wrong. I'll have to look that up again. But he literally was like, they say that he just walked off, went and got a drink. He just like he left his post in front of Ford's Theater. John Wilkes Booth was just able to walk in. And then of course he knew Ford's Theater, so he knew like the nooks and crannies of where he could walk through. So not to say that I love and respect the old deity of Honest Abe. Um
The
but the
myth.
fact of the matter is, hmm,
The myth.
the myth, the man, the legend.
Well, they say politics is all about the myth.
Well, yeah, yeah. In 100 years from now, we'll probably have stories that say Joe Biden was the greatest president of all time. He gave us jobs. He brought
They
the
took our
economy back.
jobs and he brought them back.
So
Oh,
somebody needs to tell Joe that half those jobs that came back were just people going back to work from working at home during COVID.
that's right.
Then the economy is not doing well. You keep spending money you don't have, even with interest rates I mean, skyrocketed. Even with the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, the government's still selling off the bonds. Third party, of course, selling off the bonds third party. That would be illegal if it was in a direct exchange
Yeah.
between the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve, and then and then getting the money, then getting the Federal Reserve bonds in order to create new money. So, all doing this with the everybody else. I mean, everybody else is trying to correct themselves and kind of save and they're at a standstill because of high interest rates. But no, the United States government's still creating new money and sending that money to Ukraine and Israel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So, but Joe Biden is gonna be your next Abraham Lincoln.
We predicted it here first on Chinese Telegram.
And all you fellow Chinese Telegram people, stop hitting people with stools. Don't. There. What are you thinking? There is no amount of anger that can supply somebody to pick up a stool and beat the other person with that stool. I mean, talk about a chair shot, man. What are you
Yeah,
trying to do? Reenact New Japan Wrestling?
I don't know.
CZW? ECW?
I know
WWE
that
in the Attitude Era?
I know they're not putting over the wet market anymore, that's for sure.
They're not putting over the wet market. This is what happened at Wuhan, dude. The Wuhan lab, the lab leak theory is real because somebody beat somebody with a stool and they ducked and the stool hit one of the walls, just cracked it a little bit, and then the virus just seeped through. There's your
No, it
lab
didn't
leak.
seep. It didn't seep through. They broke a hole in the Great Chinese Internet, and it went all the way to the Great Wall of Israel.
The Great Wall of Israel
Yeah, and it
is
seeps through to the west.
that's what happened, everybody.
And then
We
and then,
figured out.
Then Trump went to the Great Wall and it said, "I have finally arrived. Please answer my call."
while, while touching it with a yarmulke on his head.
And he said, "Hold on, Great Wall. I had to go to Saudi Arabia to touch a gigantic glowing orb. I'll be back."
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what happened. We have figured out we have figured out what happened during 2020, 2021.
Yep.
Technically 2019, but you didn't hear that from me. I would say the name, but I don't want to. I don't. We already have two strikes on this. I don't want to get the third one.
And then they poisoned the vape pens and they made them illegal, and COVID struck.
Oh, he said the word. He said the word. There's strike three, man. You know what? It's 2024. We can say COVID now.
Oh man.
COVID, COVID, COVID. When you say COVID three times and slap your feet together, you get pneumonia.
Guess it's better than slapping that scientist in Wuhan.
With a stool. With a stool.
With a stool.
Hmm. So, yeah, so with all this political shenanigans, where do you see the country in 4 years?
In my rearview mirror.
Well, I mean, if you can't escape it in 4 years, where do you see it?
Oh boy. Well, I can definitely see Kennedy running again. I can see what's his name, Gavin Newsom from California running again. I can see Vivek Ramaswamy running again. I can see Rand Paul running again. I don't know. It's gonna be a shit show, that's
Uh,
for sure.
How about Thomas Massey? You think he answers the call for all the libertarian people that want him to run?
Only on the condition that he has an APAC guy.
He has to have the APAC guy.
He has to kiss the ring.
That's usually how it goes, man. I mean, yeah. But I mean, hey, he did beat the APAC funded campaigns in his district.
Well, I'll
I
tell you
mean,
this now because I can't tell you in the future, but Donald Trump broke the orb again.
it's like Abraham Reyes when you play Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare and you get to the end. Spoiler alert, everybody. And if you haven't played the game, then you live under a rock anyways. But you get that guy. Yeah. But you get to the end and you learn why the world has been cursed to become an undead nightmare and the dead walk the earth. Um, it's because you have an Aztec artifact that was found and seized by Abraham Reyes, who has become the leader of Nuevo Mauricio since the revolution. And he's become disenchanted and mortified. Like he's become the Walking Dead as well when you meet him and you got to kill him. But he's like the hardest. He's really not the hardest boss. It's actually very easy to kill him, but he's the boss. Um, but you have to take him out and then retrieve the artifact and put it back down in the catacombs underneath the governor's mansion in order to rectify everything and send the world back to where it is. Of course, the funny thing, haha, you got this guy named Seth who's an ugly, dirty, grave robbing weirdo who ends up going and retrieving it anyways, and then that's just so you can run around Undead Nightmare and free roam after the game as a undead, an unalived as an unalived zombie
Let's
John
just be
Marston.
real. He's an Epstein John Martian, okay?
Yeah, yeah. So
He's
because
been
he ends
Epstein.
up well, because he ends up getting taken out at the very end of the main game. So you get to run
Hey, it was
around
the
as a
18, it
zombie.
was the
Yeah,
1800s. You could do whatever you want back then. You can't
yeah,
do that stuff
yeah.
now.
But that's what's cool. You can run around as a zombified John Marston, taking out zombies. But the fact is it yeah. So when you say an orb, it brings me to that moment. I mean, so it sounds like Donald Trump has broke the orb again. So we're in for a great reset.
He's inverted the energy.
Hmm.
He's drawing on it once again.
We're gonna use video game references on this. So yeah, like so he's grabbed the he has in his possession the apple of Eden. He has found one of the apples.
Oh man.
Oh
Assassin's
man,
Creed.
where are the assassins when we need them?
Right.
Evidently they're retarded. Evidently they don't send the modern day assassins are just they're not what they once were, man. They're pretty incompetent. We're we're not in the days of Ezio Auditore da Firenze. We're in the days of assassin Thomas Matthews Crooks.
Who got his rifle on Etsy.
What he should
All
have
right.
done was he should have been on the top of that water tower, looking down, and then did a leap of faith assassination air attempt
Yeah.
with his hidden blades. Would have been much cooler too. And it would have been even cooler when he failed trying to be an assassin because that water tower is nowhere close to where the stage was. So good luck, buddy.
Hmm.
Should have hood and everything. Put the hood up, hidden blades, have your own hidden blades, jump from a water tower.
Look, that's a very ugly lie. Democrats never wore hoods. Okay, that's an urban legend.
Hey, Democrats are not the party of the South anymore.
Oh, okay, my bad. Maybe they did. I know. I just work here.
The the Republican base realized that the Democrats decided to if you can't beat them, just join them. Just hijack the progressive movement.
You show off and you
And
become president of the United States, and then you survive an assassination attempt.
I mean, well, why do you think? Why do you think the Republicans attached to Donald Trump, man? They realized they needed to go back to the progressive movement, so they grabbed the New York progressive.
Yeah,
So it's coming full circle, man. It is. The Republican Party is coming back to its roots. Old
just like the
1950 or
enneagram,
old,
it's a big
yeah,
circle.
it is. It's a big circle. The Republican Party's coming back to old 1854 socialism.
Yes,
Only
sir.
this time, only this time, the MAGA cult is getting their goal. They will have their king that will usher in a utopia of stateless communism.
Wait, that subscriber didn't leave. He went and brought another one back.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. I love my MAGA people. Yeah, I honestly think that you all have the right heart, but you follow grifters. I
Hmm.
really do think that you want to be left alone. I really do. I think you
That's why
want.
you're
I think
watching
you.
this podcast to be looked down upon for people who even
Yeah,
watched.
yeah.
Yes,
We look
yes.
down. Yeah, yeah. We look down upon you because we want to help you see the light. You are following an occult of personality of the biggest grifter that has graced our society today. And Joe
You know,
Biden's pretty damn close too as a grifter. I mean, come on.
and he loves to go through the drive-through.
Who, Trump or Biden?
Trump. He loves Corny's drive-through.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Cornette. Jim Cornette. This is a call out to Jim Cornette. Yeah, a shout out. And we're asking you live here on the Legacy Right. Come
And
on to the
Chinese
show.
Telegram.
And Chinese Telegram. Come on to the show. We would love to explore your perspective of why politics is so closely resembled to wrestling. Why? Why, why is
Maybe
the
you can,
political theater
maybe you
WWE?
can, maybe you can explain why Hulk Hogan was putting himself over in front of Maggot Scream.
Because it's a work.
I thought it was a shoot. That's why they shot him.
But no, not Hulk Hogan. I mean, he did. That was pretty cool if you watch the clip. I mean, he rips his shirt just like no Hulkamania. This is Trumpomania. And yeah,
There.
what are you gonna do, brother, when Trumpomania goes wild on you or whatever? Trumpomania. Trumpomania is running wild, man.
That's
You've
right.
heard it from the Hawkster. You've heard
You
it from
heard
the
it first
Hawkster.
here on Otaku Sauce.
Speaking of that, what is your thoughts on Hulk Hogan? What is up with a lot of these like old wrestlers jumping ship into the Republican Party?
They're addicted to the energy. They just can't put it down.
That's what it is. I mean, unless you're Kane. I mean, Kane strikes me more as a libertarian-esque, but he knows that the Libertarian Party is not the party to go to.
Yeah.
So, and he's also staying more local, although when he's on Twitter, he dabbles
MAGA
in
territory.
in MAGA. Well, he kind of has to because I mean you are in Eastern Tennessee, So you do have a lot of Trump supporters voted for Trump in 2016, 2020. So you want to hold on to your seat, right? So that I know of, I mean, he's actually done some really good things in Knox County as the mayor, which is still
Yeah,
really weird that a county has a mayor. I've never heard of that until I heard that Knox County has a mayor. What is a county mayor?
a
I've
backward
heard of county
society.
commission. Oh, what?
The backward society.
We need two mayors. We need one for our county and one for our city. Why not just
Hmm.
consolidate Knoxville into a dual county city governorship like Indianapolis and Louisville do? I mean, you got the Louisville Jefferson Metro, you got the Indianapolis Marion consolidation. Instead, you have Knox County with a mayor. But yeah, no, Kane is actually doing a lot of things. He is really it is kind of cool that he is very hard knots on trying to guarantee the school choice. Like he has worked hard on ensuring that you have a school choice. I know it's still public mostly, but you have a school choice situation where parents can choose what district they want to send their kids, even if they're not in that district. Uh, I know my area's had that for a long while as well, where you don't have to go to South Dearborn's shitty education system, being in the rural townships of Center or Hogan. You can yeah, or whatever. You can go to Lawrenceburg, which is actually a better education system now with the superintendent that they have now, they're better education. Not to say that public schools are good education, but it's a better education than it once was. Let's just say they focus more on education, not the test scores,
Hmm.
like they used to be. But I like that. What is another concept that he's doing? Low the policies on like low property tax scenarios because
Probably.
the county operates on collecting the property. So I mean, he's done some good things, and
Yeah.
he is relatively his principles seem like he really is shooting as a libertarian, but he's doing it the right way by gravitating towards where the voter is going to go. Like where in that area they are generally Republican. So you're not going to be a libertarian in Eastern Tennessee. Just like you're not going to be a libertarian in Nashville. Like if you want in Nashville, you're going to want to be a Democrat. You can be a
Hmm.
libertarian-esque, but you're going to want to join the Democratic Party. Why? Because that's the party of power in that area, because they're all a bunch of liberals. So, but when it all comes down to it, most voters are exactly that. They do want a less government intrusion. Um, maybe less for most liberals, but they do want more support for their communities. And if you can attract that libertarian idea to a liberal Democrat that says, hey, we can limit government and its spending and its intrusion by helping focus more on community initiatives and less on welfare. We can do what you guys want. Like you guys want to help people attain housing or healthcare. I mean, well, let's try to like limit the expansive government intervention and work with like local private community charities in order to uh, put those provisions forth to help people acquire decent health care or a home and housing, so they're not unhoused and getting arrested and thrown in jail since this is Tennessee. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. So you can be libertarian-esque, infiltrate the Democratic Party, and navigate those principles for what most Democrats, just like most Republicans want, that are voters. I'm talking voters at this point. They really do. Like both sides are just general human beings that want to help incentivize a need and a niche in society that we've kind of lost. I mean, but they're going the wrong way about it. They're using politics.
Uh,
Anything to say? Anything to add on that, Andrew?
well, I mean, I haven't been there in a while, so I couldn't really give you an honest answer other than the fact that they're housing the homeless through the same mechanisms they get from the West Coast, because they're putting them
Yeah,
in
that's
hotels, they're putting them in apartments, and they're paying for it through taxpayer money.
and that's I mean, and as positive as that does sound, the fact is no right should be a no there is no right to rob other people, to force people to pay for certain programs that give people homes. That's why the incentive, if you're going to use politics as a place, is to attempt to limit that intrusion so we're not literally robbing people blind and raising taxation rates and having people pay for programs to force the issue and turning hotels from what they're supposed to be or into just dens of desperate destitution. Like, you want markets, right? You want the market to work. Especially in like Knoxville area, like, and even Nashville as well. You have a high, vibrant tourist community, but what happens when all these hotels are getting subsidized from taxpayer monies to house the homeless so that they have a place to go? Excuse me. Um, and you end up running out of room for hotels for individuals that are coming to, like, relax and enjoy their time down there, enjoy the Smokies, enjoy Dollywood. Which funny thing is, last week, another tidbit of current bit before I continue this tangent, Dollywood shut down because I guess a power generator shut off or exploded or something. Yeah, it didn't last very long, but they actually had to close. Uh, in the sake of Dolly Parton, because she certainly fucked that area, uh, because of tax subsidy and getting rich off of it. Uh, Fuck
Section
them.
racket.
But yeah, I guess Dolly Parton's Dollywood shut down for like a couple hours because they lost power. They ended up coming back, reopened before the day was out, and they sent on their site, on their website, or on their Facebook or whatever. They did like a public apology. But uh, I digress. Um, but you don't want to force the issue and subsidize businesses to go against their actual business practices in a market. You're just going to ruin a market, and the next thing you know, you've lost that industry because you have nowhere else to house people that need a place to stay when they come to visit because they're too filled with homeless people. And a lot of them, sadly, are doing drugs. A lot of them have mental health issues. A lot of them are coping with those mental health issues by self-medicating with drugs. And not a whole lot of people want to come spend their time out in the Smokies, uh, and chilling and enjoying a different scene, getting away from home, and live by a bunch of dirty, filthy, drug addicted, mentally ill people. I mean, it's just the fact of life. Like, nobody wants to be around that. If they want to be around that, they'll just stay at home and sit on their front porch and listen to their neighbor yell at them with the AR-15 pointed at their head.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah, so the best thing, in my opinion, for you libertarians is divorce from politics. Honestly, absolutely divorce from politics and get to the real center of what people truly want. And what people really want is to live their life and to build relationships, or not, but build relationships with one another, work with one another, and just raise their families and be peaceful and yeah and have a home. But
Mm.
this concept of we need the government to come in. Like Reagan was right. Reagan was a communist. He was very wrong in how he actually actively was active with his government, but he was right. I mean, I mean, what is the worst thing that you perceive with government? Like, if the government wants to come in and say they want to help you, truly run. The government's not there to help you. Like, the
Yeah.
services are shit. I mean, you don't get the best benefit because they don't allocate those funds to where they really need to go
Yeah.
because they have other budgets that they need to build and other organizations within government that need. I mean, so money does not flow where it needs to be, and then you have the grifters that are in government to sustain themselves. So get out of politics, really. I mean, we're seeing that we're truly seeing it in 2024. So, and just so you know, everybody, Trump
We'll
did
see
say the
it.
line. Yeah, Trump did say the line yesterday at his rally
He
in
sold
Grand
he sold
Rapids.
the gimmick. He sold the
He
gimmick,
sold
really?
it. Yeah, the meme is real. He said the meme. This is the most important election of our lifetime.
Oh God, I
That's
gotta
how
go
we
vote
know
for
it's
him
a.
right now.
Yeah, I know you're gonna vote for him, Trumper. Trumper.
Donald, Donald Trump, Trump.
I'm gonna go vote for RFK, dude, because I like my gun control and my climate lockdowns.
Mm,
Just so you know, RFK, no.
yeah.
He's gonna probably get like he may actually get 8% of the vote, and those people are literally just handing the election to Donald Trump. Because all these Democrats are gonna vote for RFK, and then all
He's
these
gonna tie with
libertarians,
Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy, if he was actually in the race, if he just would probably get like half of it. Chase Oliver would probably beat Vivek. I'm sorry.
Wait, I thought Ramaswamy got 8% in Iowa.
Did he?
Yeah.
Iowa never says anything. Hillary Clinton won Iowa.
Iowa.
Didn't Nikki Haley win Iowa?
Hell
Like
if I know,
actually
man.
win Iowa? Look where she's at. Iowa
Yeah.
doesn't mean I love Iowa is only presented in the narrative because it's the first public caucus. It's the first caucus to start the year off in an election primary season. Iowa doesn't mean anything. I mean, the narrative is Iowa and New Hampshire, Iowa and New Hampshire. It's like, get the fuck out of here. Iowa? Iowa means nothing, dude.
It's their first stop on the way home.
That's basically it. It's just the first stop. Like, well, Vivek may have gotten 8% in Iowa, but in a general election, nah, I think Vivek would at least tie with Chase Oliver, in my opinion. I mean, because I mean, the problem with Vivek, is it Vivek or Vivek? I don't
Vivek
know.
Ramaswamy.
But anyways, the problem with Vivek is he simps too much for Trump that that would actually hurt him if he were like say he decided to drop out just like RFK ended up doing in running independent. That would mean he has to run against Trump, right? Well, he simps
Yeah.
so hard for Trump, and I don't think he can get away from that. I mean, to the point where that would hurt him in a general election. So yeah, so like in the difference between Vivek and RFK is RFK actually has a chance of pulling votes away from Joe Biden. So that's where he is going to probably sit at that 8 to 10% by the time. Maybe I could be wrong. Um, by the time the November election comes, Vivek would probably tie, if not even do worse than Chase Oliver, because most of his voting base is not going to take anything away. No Democrat is voting for Vivek. So he's not taking anything away from Joe Biden. So he's going to have to take away from Donald Trump. But nobody's going to go against Donald Trump for Vivek. Yeah, especially if you have a candidate that simps for Donald Trump and says a lot of wholly good things, even in his campaign to go against Donald Trump, he's still going to side quite frequently with certain issues with the Donald. So in that case, when it comes to a general election, based on power dynamic tools of politics, Vivek, if he was the independent, not RFK, take RFK out of the picture, and Vivek is the independent. Vivek is going to be slightly around that 1 to 2% margin.
Hmm.
I think he takes away from Chase. I actually think he takes away from Chase Oliver. So I think with Vivek, just like with RFK, Chase is getting like 1/10%. And I'm serious, everybody. You think the Libertarian Party has gotten their big push the last several years? Oh God, Chase is about to get bombarded, especially since he's actually at this point, he's not on the ballot in Colorado. He's not on the ballot in New Hampshire because New Hampshire doesn't even have a Libertarian Party affiliate. So he's not on the ballot, and there's going to be a number of states that he's not going to be on the ballot. So he's not even he will be lucky if he gets 1/10 of the vote.
Well, I hear that they count the votes in China, so he got Chinese telegram.
Yeah, yeah. The Chinese people they might vote for Chase. And so I don't know what their theory is on the trans stuff though. I get it, parental rights, but sometimes parents are stupid. Yeah, you can't force a child to fucking transition because you feel that little Timmy is playing with a Barbie doll. It might not. It might just be a phase. No, little Timmy's really Tanya. Shut the
Mhm.
fuck up. Little Timmy is Tanya because he played with a Barbie doll.
Yep.
What is your take on that, actually?
What's my take on that?
Yeah.
Well, it's not my take, it's the judge's take. Remember, they have all the power. They have all the pull around here. They make the real tough decisions.
Are you saying that the Supreme Court is the supreme law of the land?
No, I'm saying that the local judge has the opportunity to fuck over a kid at any chance that they can.
And they do
And
it.
it depends on where you are when you're seeing the court. If you're in a more blue area, then you're fucked for life. If you're a purple area, you got a 50% chance. If you're a red area, you have a chance to get out for a while.
Sometimes. Sometimes a lot of red areas are just as worse as blue areas. So
Yeah.
um typically that coincides on if you're able to in that red area, if you're able to at least uh, 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 ascertain certain facades of competition between the two parties. But most cases, if it's blue, and it's a one party state. If it's red, and it's a one party state. It really is
Yeah.
communist Chinese telegram.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we're in a sad state of affairs, man, and yeah, we are. When it comes to judges and politicians, and I'd like to know, honestly, when it comes to the enneagram status, um, the psychology makeup of a lot of these, because they say that politicians become politicians because they're sociopathic. So I'd like to see if we can put some actual statistics and actual information and core research into the ordeal, and maybe use the enneagram to describe why these politicians and judges and bureaucrats are the way that they are in government. So, I mean,
The
if you
bread
had to guess, no, go ahead.
the bread and butter Enneagram tri type would be the 6, the loyalist, 8, the challenger, and 3, the achiever. Loyalists are driven by conspiracies. The when they're unhealthy, they fall back into conspiracy.
Yeah.
Challengers are always pushing to try to, assert themselves and control the situation. And
Mm,
achievers, like I said before, they're driven to overcome shame. So it's just
yeah.
like I said before, it's like blending coffee, you know.
Yeah. So
Everyone's experience is going to define what they do with their life.
yeah. So basically, what you're saying is they may not be sociopaths after all. They may actually have a conscience, but they just don't care because they're trying to attenuate their goals in life and their failures in their other uh, niches in life. They get into public office in order to finally find that success, and
Well,
then and then
they feel like if they can overcome the shame of their, their experience by helping other people, by slinging them through the mud, through the conspiracy or whatever you want to call it, and by challenging, the situation, that they've done something good to make a better society.
yeah. So I mean, with that to close out, it really does kind of subject us to this notion that politics is theater and everybody's just they're in the game to get over.
Yeah.
I mean, and then to also articulate Lindsey Graham and his stupidity. He really was a failed attorney, and then he got into politics and got rich off of
Well, he's a loyalist.
bribes.
He's driven to run with the crowd, so to speak,
Hmm.
with the people in power as much as possible, and he'll only reject them when he absolutely has to.
Yeah, and it does seem like with the achievement factor,
Yeah.
being an achiever, he does want to chase that illusion of breaking out his shame because I mean he's a homosexual, everybody. There's no question about it. He's a homosexual, but he's also a Republican in the Republican Party. And for the last few decades, the Republican Party, for the most part, is against that, especially since they co-opted the evangelical vote back in the 70s. So you have that Christian caucus. Uh, Homosexuality, especially to an evangelical that wants to interpret the Bible, especially the Old Testament, as literal. Homosexuality is an abomination. So he has to conceal that and overcome that homoeroticism that he holds so dear in his life that he has obviously made the choice to succumb to by being this macho fear and warmongering loyalist to the military industrial complex to keep his seat as the senator of South Carolina, as one of the senators of South Carolina. Um, Otherwise, if word got out that he was a fruit boot and poofter and he wasn't tough as nails on law and order, and the terrorists, I mean, he'd be voted out in a heartbeat because he's a
Mm.
fag. And I mean, you know those red states, man, especially in the South, especially that Bible thumping South, man. You better not be no gay, dude.
Yep.
Hmm. So, but uh, but with that, the Republican Party does have their history of having secret homosexuals in office. I mean, Abraham Lincoln actually had a gay lover that he wrote to love letters, true love letters. What was his name? They were close friends. I get it, it's the 19th century. A lot of men in small boarding houses when they're traveling, it was cheaper to just get a room together. They would sleep together. There's nothing really gay with sharing a bed with somebody, right? It's just a bed. You're going to bed. You're sleeping. But they have some there's some eloquent love letters out there between Lincoln and his close friend. What the I'll look up the guy's name. I'm having a blank on his name, but they were best friends to the end. Even when Lincoln was president, they were writing to each other, and it was so the letters were very affectionate. Now I get it, 19th century, different time, different use of vocabulary and words. So definite to define homosexuality, for them to be homosexual, could be murky waters. They might not have been actual homosexuals, but the fact of the matter is like Lincoln would use things like I miss laying with you, stuff like that. So I mean, so it wouldn't be uh indifferent to understand that there are some homosexual Republicans out there. I mean, you have fucking what, George Santos, was that his name? The guy that got booted for the fraud stuff.
Yeah, I suppose.
How did yeah, he was a homosexual. He was outright up forth about it, man. He was truly out of the closet about it. It's like, yeah, I'm gay. I'm a fruit boot and poofter, but I'm also a Republican.
Hell yeah,
I'm
brother.
it, yeah, I'm Israel first. America first is Israel first.
It didn't work for me, brother.
Well, evidently it does, Hawk. Donald Trump is
I,
is Israel first.
I'm still running for president of these 50 United States, and I approve of not this message.
All right. So everybody, in order for Trumpomania to run wild, vote vote by writing in Hawkomania
Or rub my
on
bald head.
November 5th and make sure to rub Andrew's bald head in order to get Hulk Hogan as your president of the United States.
We gotta get him over one last time, brother.
He's getting up there in age, man, and he's in better shape and has a little bit of. I mean, he's taken a lot of blows to the head, but he seems to have his faculties in place. I think
Hmm.
he'd be a better fit than Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So vote, yeah, go ahead, write in Hulk Hogan for president, everybody. My endorsement. I endorse Hulk Hogan for president of the United States. I think he'd be a better pick, and it would be a better white pill for all for the collapse to happen.
Make sure you eat plenty of white pills and say your prayers to God before you go to bed, brother.
Yeah. So, and it would also be true prophecy from Idiocracy. Remember that movie? He goes back.
Mm,
He goes into the future, and their president actually is a isn't their president like a old retired like retard pro wrestler?
I suppose.
I don't know, or maybe it's some type of athlete. So yeah, so make sure in order to fulfill the prophecy of Idiocracy, vote Hulk. Yeah, go ahead and write in Hulk Hogan. Show
Yeah.
the world that the United States really is a nation of retards.
And if you're really retarded, you can go to t.me/taco sauce.
Good segue. Great transition. Great transition. So, but with that though, let's go ahead and close it out. This is the legacy, right? Go ahead, uh like this content, like it, check out all of our content on YouTube, like it, and leave a comment, join the conversation, tell us that we suck if you even want to, or just join the conversation in general. So we want to hear your perspective. Uh, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and don't forget to ring that bell because Mr. Algorithm really doesn't like content like this. They want to subvert us. They want to make sure that we're down at the very bottom. So that way, if you subscribe and ring that bell, you're getting our content. So every time we release something new, and don't forget to subscribe or follow or like or however you call it for the podcast libraries. I think yeah, I think it's following on Spotify. I think Apple it's a plus sign. But don't forget to add us and like us and cut us a nice little promo on the review. So and by nice promo you can
Make
definitely
sure
shoot
it's in
on whether
English.
make sure it's in Italian. Only
Oh, that's
Italian.
Italian, SpongeBob.
So yeah, so go ahead and follow us along the podcast library as well if you want to continue to get more of the legacy rights. So but other than that, go ahead, write in Hulk Hogan and to all you two scriber manga cultists, we salute you for subscribing. I love you guys. I love ribbing you. This is all a rib. Everything's a rib on the legacy, right? So yeah, yeah. Anyways, anything else to add there, Andrew, to send us
I
off?
am certainly a crook, just like that guy that shot Joe Biden. I'm sorry, Donald
There was a
Trump.
Well, I mean, Joe thinks he probably got shot. What sucks is, I mean, what sucks for Joe is like, I mean, his vice president got shot. That's another thing we didn't bring up. Joe Biden literally went out on and said in a speech, he had his little senile senior moment, and and thought that Donald Trump was his vice president. I guess he called
Yeah,
Kamala. He introduced Kamala Harris as Donald Trump. Hilarious.
he was the
This is
first
the
black vice president.
Well, no. Joe Biden is the first black woman
That's
president.
oh
Yeah,
yes, sorry, first black
no. Joe
woman vice
Biden.
president.
Yeah.
I'm
So
having
yeah,
the
no.
Joe Biden special senior moment too right now. So
So, if you want entertainment and you like the fact that Joe Biden is very entertaining in his senior moments, go ahead and continue to vote for Joe Biden. The collapse will be inevitable, and it will probably go harder with Joe Biden. And I'm just in it for the memes, dude. So yeah, there you go. So otherwise, there you have it. So this is the legacy, right? Um, I used to have a logo. I gotta fix that. I got a new computer, so I gotta fix that and see what the fuck Zoom is doing. He is Andrew Joseph.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's also Alex Jones,
Oh yeah,
and
I'm on
he's also
break. They said I'm not supposed to talk because of the court indictment.
the see we yeah we're gonna have to get you a GoFundMe there, Alex. So, but he's Andrew Joseph. I am Zachary Kaiser, the legacy of Jennifer Ent Kaiser, and we will salute you for November. And hopefully we don't collapse by then, but I have a feeling we're gonna probably collapse before November.
We're
So
gonna bring YouTube down.
I was talking about the country, but probably us as well. We'll probably collapse as well. So let's reel it in. Let's go fishing. Let's reel it in. We didn't catch anything. It's sad. It was peaceful and relaxing. That's for sure. But let's reel it in and let's go off and let's take it on out of here, Andrew. Let's head down towards the sunset.
All right, brother. That works for me,
Uh,
brother. Let's head home. Thanks for watching. See you next time.